The trolls freaked me out a little bit, to be honest. Kids, don't you dare anybody sing. Is Olaf gonna be alright? Hey everybody, it's Olaf and I like warm hugs in summer. Where is Richard? He's not over here, he's not over there. Hold on. Here I am. Well, hello my Fabaret family. It's finally time, as I've pinky promised and double pinky promised before, for me to bring you my Frozen review. If you're new here, by the way, hi, my name is Richard. Mwah, I do a lot of theatre content. If that's your scene, then press that subscribe button and join the Fabaret family. Yay! So, lovelies, first of all, I am wearing my Frozen t-shirt, so I'll show that to you. Here we go, up and down, up and down. Little tip, by the way, if you get this t-shirt, then just be prepared for glitter to get everywhere in your laundry. I'm not complaining, I've washed this t-shirt a couple of times since I got it, and basically everything else I keep putting in with the laundry comes out covered in glitter. Because look, can you see here, this front silvery bit? It's very glittery. There's glitter everywhere in my clothes now. Right, so lovelies, I went to see Frozen at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane a few weeks ago. And here's the thing, right, I didn't know this. My boss at the theatre that I worked at, she actually went to the Frozen press night. And she just didn't tell me. I was like, you know I love musicals, why didn't you tell me that? Apparently they had this big blue carpet and Frozen cocktails everywhere. I was not jealous at all.
I'm so happy and not at all jealous.
Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last few years, I'm sure you'll be aware that Frozen the musical is based on the Frozen film that Disney released in 2013. It was a bit of a hit, let's just put it like that. I think one of the key reasons why it was such a big hit was because it focused so much more on a sisterly relationship rather than a romantic relationship. Obviously there are aspects of romance in the story, but the key aspect to it being a real success and really being unique was that sisterly relationship, which I don't think had been explored as so much as in previous Disney films. It was like Spice Girls' girl power for a new decade. And I think as soon as the film had been released, people were instantly talking about, please bring this out as a musical. I mean, the music was written by Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez. And Robert Lopez previously has worked on Avenue Q and The Book of Mormon. So Frozen the musical is now on in the West End, finally, in the gorgeously new refurbished Theatre Royal Drury Lane. I thought to myself, oh, I've booked a Friday night performance, so hopefully there won't be as many kids there. Not that I've got anything against kids seeing the show, of course, they're gonna love it. I just thought to myself, I'll book an evening performance so there's less chance of kids being there and I might be able to hear the performers sing everything rather than the kids. That was one thing I was worried about because, no offense kids, I'm sure you sing this song lovely, but I've paid quite a lot of money to hear the performers sing these songs, not to hear your rendition of it. But the kids in the audience my night were actually quite well behaved. So well done to everyone who was there on my night, well done. There were so many little girls around in blue and silver dresses, it was crazy. So I'll just show you a few pictures of the new refurbished front of house. It is absolutely amazing. And another little thing to mention, if you go to the merchandise shop, just make sure you've got a second mortgage out because there were things there that were so expensive. Like this t-shirt, I think it was £35, and that for me is still quite a lot of money for £35 for a t-shirt. But I just couldn't resist, I had to buy something. There was this absolutely stunning rhinestone water bottle and I just instantly looked at it like, oh, I'm in love with you. And then I saw the price, £65. I don't think I'm in love with you anymore. Now I was really lucky because the seat I had was a centre Royal Circle seat. Ew, very posh. The thing is, I'm the kind of person that if I'm going to go all the way to London, I might as well book a really nice seat, and yes, it can be a bit more expensive, but then I know I'm going to see the whole show in its full glory. No side angles or high up or low down kind of issues, nothing like that. Okay, we've talked all about the theatre and the merchandise, so let's get on now to the actual show. Yay! I'll start with the obvious. The set and design of the show is spectacular. Lots of people might be thinking, how the heck are you going to do scenes like Elsa's transformation scene in Let It Go, and when Anna freezes up into ice at the end? I won't give anything away because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's so well done. There's clearly lots of special visual effects going on stage as well, but it's done so beautifully. One of the bits that actually freaked me out a little bit was the trolls. They felt more caveman or Neanderthal-like in comparison to the film version of them, and I have to admit I didn't really like that. It was just such an odd contrast in comparison to everything else in this Arendelle world. And I think if they'd made them just feel a bit more human-like, I think it would have been better. Having said that though, I know someone who worked on the costumes for the trolls, and the costumes were fantastic, brilliant. It's just that the actual portrayal of them I felt was a bit basic and they could have had a bit more depth to them. Especially since they're very involved in the story in terms of healing all the spells and magic and everything. I really didn't want to have to say this, but I have to admit the highlight is the Let It Go song, because I know everyone's heard Let It Go 1,000 times before, but from where I was stood, it was incredible. Samantha Bach's vocals were stunning, and just that whole transformation of going into the ice palace. Like, they had effects of ice going up all around the side of the stage, and the actual set coming in was so beautifully done. And Elsa's clothing transformation into, Ice Queen version. Everyone was up cheering, and that was the big one where I was like, kids, don't you dare anybody sing. And luckily they didn't, because everyone was just so transfixed, like. Now, the chap playing Kristoff, I hope I get his name right, Obioma Uguala, I hope I said that right, he actually brought a really interesting sort of everyman quality to the character of Kristoff. Which of course is what Kristoff is meant to be. He's meant to be like the reality check in amongst all this craziness and magic going on. But he took it to a new level in comparison to the Kristoff version from the film. And just everything he did was very clever, even when he was getting dressed up in the bride and groom sequence in Fixer Upper. He was still doing it all as if it was like, yeah, this is totally cool and normal, yeah. So I really enjoyed the way he did that, well done. And then we had Craig Gallivan, who was playing the role of Olaf. And the puppetry was so beautiful. So Craig was dressed up in kind of like a snowman suit, but then of course he was operating a puppet of Olaf. And this is what got me thinking, because of course Robert Lopez worked on the Avenue Q film. I wonder if they brought in same people to work on the puppetry for that they did with Avenue Q. That would have been such a lovely link. But the key with any kind of puppetry skills is that after a while you kind of ignore the person who's operating the puppet. And that's not a bad thing, it's because they're controlling the puppet and making that look so lifelike that that's what your focus goes to. And Craig did that spot on, it was perfect. Although I was a bit worried because at the end of the film they made no mention of Olaf getting that lovely snow cloud above him, so that even though the winter's gone, he won't melt. And I was like, yeah, this is all lovely, the winter's gone, but is Olaf gonna be alright? Now, Oliver Ormsson, who plays Hans. First of all, Oliver Ormsson is the lovely fella attached to Carrie Hope Fletcher. They're like a West End power couple, it's brilliant. Oliver's got a very tough job on his hands because everyone's seen the film. They know that Hans starts off looking like this nice guy and then he turns into a bad guy. So we all know that twist is coming, but Oliver played it very well considering. He was the charming prince as always, but you could see little elements coming in, like when they went to find Elsa at the palace and there's that whole attack sequence between Elsa and all the guards. You could see Oliver putting in little moments of his darker qualities of his character that suddenly pop out for a second and then come back in, which we didn't get in the film. And that was a nice way of saying to the audience, hey, we all know I'm about to do something bad, but I'm going to give you a little hint and then take it back. Now, Stephanie McKeon, who plays Anna, I didn't see her that night. It was Sarah O'Connor, and I think actually it was her first night playing Anna. And she played it with this wonderful childlike quality throughout the whole show. Even when the story was getting disastrous and desperate towards the end, she played it fantastically. Because Anna is very much a victim throughout this whole story and you could easily end up hating her. But that's why the story works so well, because Anna in particular rises to the occasion of saving her sister when she really needs her the most. Even after Elsa's done everything like ignoring her and icing her heart and everything. And that's what makes the story work so well. Oh, and then Samantha Boggs, everyone just stay calm, Samantha Boggs is on stage. So I know I've talked on my channel here before about star casting and how you shouldn't be disappointed if a particular member of the cast isn't on because of illness and their understudy is on. And I totally would have thought that if this was the case, but I have to admit, I was secretly really excited when I found out that Samantha Boggs was performing as Elsa that night. Samantha Boggs is just so incredibly talented and beautiful, and I was so happy I got to see her live. I mean, Samantha Boggs really rose to initial fame on I Do Anything. That was the BBC talent show where they were searching for a new Nancy for the Oliver musical. And I saw her in the last 5 years at the Other Palace, formerly St James's Theatre. And of course, the film version of Les Miserables, where she played Eponine, which for me, Samantha Boggs' performance as Eponine and Anne Hathaway's take on Fantine, they were the best two character performances in that film. Oh, and she did a wonderful online version of First Date with Simon Lipkin during lockdown. Simon Lipkin, who I've talked about on this channel before. I wasn't as keen on quite a lot of the new music, to be honest. The one exception was the song Monster, which is very powerful and really moving. And it was quite refreshing to see that Frozen are really taking a push on diversity with this cast. Because the girl who played young Anna that night was black, and she was actually born in South Africa. And then Sarah O'Connor, who is white Caucasian, played the elder version of Anna, so that was actually really refreshing to see. Here we go, Sarah O'Connor ensemble, but not for my performance. I did mention that the ensemble are used in a very clever way for when Anna becomes fully frozen. Now I won't spoil it, but I have to admit there were some points where other than that, I didn't really feel there to be a big need for a massive ensemble on stage. I think there was maybe a bit more of, we've got all these people here, we might as well just chuck them on stage, where actually we didn't really need them. So overall, lovelies, I would say Frozen, it's definitely worth going to see, but don't expect to get too much extra on top of what was in the film, with the exception of the spectacular visual effects, which for me worth the ticket price alone, especially Let It Go. I was happy to pay my whole ticket price just to see that song and that transformation on stage. So overall, out of 5 stars, I'll give Frozen 4. Now don't come at me saying, Richard, you must have an icy cold heart, why didn't you give it 5 out of 5? I did enjoy it, I did, but there were some particular aspects, like I mentioned with the trolls and the ensemble, where there were still some bits that just didn't work for me. And if you do go and see the show, make sure to put in some extra time before the show and after the show, just to take in all the wonderful front of house. Well, that's it for me today, my lovelies. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mwah. I'll be back next #Theatre Thursday with another vlog. Stay fab with Fabaret. Bye!